So I was just saying that I also started trading recently. So before we start, this is the disclaimer which I'm going to make that myself and Wasik both are not providing any kind of legal or professional advice. We are also just basic traders, just like you guys, just like most of you guys. And investment in stocks is risky. It's more riskier, especially in options. So do your due diligence before you make any investment decisions. And the second thing is that options trading may not be considered halal by some scholars. So I'm not going to comment whether it is halal or not. So please do your own research and decide as per on your conscience and as per your own faith. I am an IT consultant. I'm not a stock person to say. So let's start with the very basics. So I feel that for many of you, this you already know this, but since mentioned that we'll be starting from very basics. So just to start with, an option contract is basically 100 shares. So when you say you bought one contract, it is meaning that you bought 100 shares. So there are two types of options mainly. The ones are call options, and the second one is put options. So first I'm going to discuss call option. So holder of call option, the one who has bought, he has a right to buy the share at a strike price before the option expiry date. So I would say it is very similar to getting into a contract with a new builder for a house. Generally, when you enter in a contract to buy a house, you are obligated to buy that house. If you do not buy it, you also lose your deposit. In addition to that, he can sue you for further losses. But in this case, if they make an exception that only thing you would lose is your deposit and no other repercussions would be on you if you walk away from the deal, then that is what would be called a call option. So you pay premium to buy the call. Once you have the call, you have the right to buy it. However, you can walk away from the deal if you want, and there won't be any repercussions apart from the premium which you have paid that would be gone. So buyer will make profit if stock price go beyond the strike price. So for example, you bought a contract which gives you the right to buy the shares at $10. Obviously, if the stock price goes to $15, you can still buy it at $10. However, if the stock price falls below $10, it becomes $9 or $8, you just walk away, and only thing you lose is your initial deposit. So if the stock price has not moved beyond your stock price by the expiry date, your option becomes worthless. You lose all of your deposit. It becomes zero. So if you have bought an option and stock price starts to go up, option premium also increases. So you can trade the option just like a stock. For example, you bought it for 50 cents, and if it has gone to 70 cents, 80 cents, or $2, you can sell it just making profit just like you would do on any regular stock. Put options, again over here also one contract would be 100 shares. So now it is kind of in the opposite sense. So holder of put option has the right to sell the share at strike price before the option expiry date. So again, he has the right, he does not have the obligation. He has paid a premium, purchased this right. If the stock price falls below strike price, he can still sell it at the strike price. However, if the stock price rises, and he can just walk away from it. And if by so if the stock price does not fall below strike price by the end of expiry date, then again in this case option will become worthless. So all the premium which you would have bought, which you have which you have which you would have paid to buy that contract, that would become zero. So these put options, they are inverse of the stock price. If the stock price goes up, then the premium will go down. If the stock price starts falling, then the premium goes up, because let's suppose you bought it with a strike price of 10. If the share price drops to $6, you can still sell it. You can still sell that stock for $10. And if the stock price has gone higher, then you will just walk away from the contract and you will lose the deposit which you paid. So you would often hear that dealing or trading in options is very high risk because of the fact I mentioned that if nothing happens or the way you were predicting the stock, if it does not move in that direction by the expiry date, it becomes worthless. So whatever you invested, it becomes simply zero. If you're investing in stocks, it almost never becomes zero unless the company gets delisted and it becomes bankrupt. But options can become zero. So it could be very high risk, but however, there are few strategies where I would say they are low risk. So the number one is that you can trade options just like regular stocks I mentioned already. So over here, the key would be that you buy options which have a very long expiry date. For example, right now you can buy options which go as far as in 2022. Like they have about 2 years of expiry. So if you are betting that one stock would raise or would recover from these lows, then you can buy, instead of buying the stock, you can just buy the options. I mean, if the stock is not going to rise in 2 years, then that stock would not have been worth buying anyways, even if you bought the stock directly. Also, a very interesting thing is that you can buy put options to hedge against losses for share you are holding. So you are holding some shares, and those shares, their price can drop drastically. So what you can do is to hedge against your losses. You can pay a little bit of premium, but buy put options. So in that case, if the stock price goes really, really low, you will still have put options to sell your stocks at the strike price. There is more on this. I will come in the coming slides. Again, as I mentioned, that if a stock is very volatile, for example, I would give an example of American Airline. About 1 month ago, that stock was $13, and it even went to $8. So I know that many of the people, they buy a stock, and if the price goes like $1 or $2 below their price at which they bought, they would trigger a stop loss and then sell the stock at a loss. So I would say in such situation where the stock is highly volatile and you are anticipating that if a $2 price drops, then you are going to sell it. I would say rather than buying the stock, buy an option, a call option with maybe a 1 or 2 year expiry, which lets you buy the stock at the current strike price. So if the price drops drastically, the max you can lose is option premium, $2 or $2.50. However, in the case of if you have bought the stock, if you bought it at $13, now the stock has gone to $8, so you have lost basically $5 per share. But if the price goes up, for example, if from 13 now it has become $19, the option premium would also increase roughly by $5 or $6. So it would roughly increase the same amount for which the stock has gained, roughly same amount. For example, your strike price was 13. If now the share is trading at $19, since the option is $6 in the money, option premium is almost going to increase $6. So you can take that full profit by just paying a fraction of the cost, which was the cost of the premium, rather than putting whole $13 to buy that stock. So what kind of options you can sell? There are some limitations in the registered accounts. For example, in TFSA, RRSP, and RESP, these are all Canadian kind of accounts where there are some tax benefits. In these ones, there are some limitations. For example, you cannot sell put options, or you cannot sell some kind of calls if you do not have those underlying stocks in your portfolio. If anybody has any questions, please keep them coming. I will just take a look at if there are any questions so far. Okay, yeah, so there are no questions so far. Okay. Another option, a low risk option, is selling covered calls. So you have a stock, you bought it at $20, and your plan is that whenever it reaches $25, you're gonna sell it. And then you're not going to worry even if it goes to $30 or $35, because as per your plan, you're going to get out of it when it becomes $25. So, and then you don't know how long it's going to take for this stock to get $25. maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months, maybe 6 months, but your plan is that you have invested in it, and when it becomes at a certain point, only then you're going to sell it. Before that, you're not going to sell it. So in that case, you can sell a covered call for that stock at the strike price which you are willing to sell it. For example, in this example, $25. So when you sell the covered call, you will receive a little bit of premium. It depends how much expiry you are setting up and how much volatility is there in that stock. So what I would suggest is that you sell the covered call with 1 month expiry date. And if for a typical stock which is about trading close to $10, option premium for a 1 month expiry would be around 30 to 40 cents. So if you have 1,000 shares, you will collect $400. And within 1 month, if it reaches your strike price, for example, $13 or $14, then it would be at the option expiry, it would be sold at $14 only. Like even if the stock becomes $17 or $18, you would still only get $14. However, as I mentioned, your plan always was that you are going to sell it once it has reached a certain level, and then you're not going to worry about how much high it has gone because you have collected your profits. But on the other hand, if the price is still under $13 after 1 month, then that options which you sold becomes worthless. You keep the premium which you got when you sold the option, and you still have your stock, and then you can resell uh, the options for the next month, and you can continue doing it unless your stock is sold at your desired price. Uh, only loss or only uh, thing you will lose in this case is the extra profit which you could have potentially got if you had not sold the options. For example, recently I had sold covered calls for American Airlines for $14 strike price. However, the stock has now gone up. It's trading close to $19. But I'm okay with $14 because that was my plan to begin with, that whenever this stock reaches $14, I'm going to sell it. So even if I had not sold the covered options, because at that time I would not have known that the stock would raise so much, that as soon as it would have reached 14, I would have set up a pre-order already, and it would have executed automatically. So yes, there could be regrets that, oh, if I had held it, I could sell it at $19. But the fact of the matter is that you never know. After $14, it could just drop to $10 just in a day. So as long as I collected my profit, which was my plan, uh, I am fine with it. And on the other hand, if the price had not reached $50, I would still have kept the premium which I got when I sold the options. Okay. So anything about covered? I think I have covered all the things which I have mentioned on this slide. Let me do a time check as well. How far? Okay, 20 minutes. So another thing is buying puts. You bought a stock for $40, let's suppose, and then after a few months or after a few weeks, it becomes $50. Now you want to keep this stock because you are thinking that it can go up. However, you want to secure the gains which you have already received, which the stock has already appreciated. So what you can do is you can buy a put option with 1 year expiry maybe. And I would say, let's suppose if you buy that option with a $2 premium, so you invest $2,000 more, and you have now for 1 year secure your profit. So let's suppose you buy a put option with a strike price of 50. Now within 1 year, even if the stock price falls below uh, 47, 46, or 45, you still have the right to buy it. You still have the right to sell it at $48, at $50. Sorry. So in this case, by putting that $2 premium, you have ensured that you have $8 gain per stock at the minimum. If the stock goes up, yes, you lose that $2 which you paid, but that is fine because for 1 year you had secured your gain, because it is a hedge against your loss, that if the stock price starts going down, you don't need to worry, you don't need to sell it, because you still have the right to sell it at $48 at the end of the year till the option expiry. So this is how you use puts to hedge against your losses. Uh, I have written the example. I'll probably share the slides as well, so you can read it from here as well. But the concept is that if you have purchased a stock, it has gained significantly, and you fear that it can go down. So you pay a little bit of what you have gained already to secure your gain for a year. You will lose only the option premium, which is, I would say, for a $40 stock or a $50 stock, $2 premium should get you a 1 year expiry in most cases. Okay, so now there are some very high risk options, but in any, just like any business, more riskier stuff has more higher rewards. Like bigger the risk, bigger the loss, bigger the gains. So I would not suggest these, and I have not done these myself as well because these are very risky. But I know few of my friends who do this on regular basis, and they make a lot of money. However, the thing is that you can lose a significant amount of money in a single day. So there is a strategy called vertical spread. This strategy can be done in two ways. You can go long or you can go short. Uh, I'll explain what it is. I want to know if Vasik has joined the call. Vasik, are you on the call? Maybe you
He is
can
on the
type in
call.
or something. Okay, great. Okay, great. So feel free anytime you feel I have not described something correctly, and if you want to add something more to what I am saying already. Okay, cool. Okay, so vertical spread. So basically, what you do is that you sell a call. For example, a stock is trading at $93. So you sell a call for it for $3. So in a non-registered account, in a margin account, you can sell a call even without if you have the stocks in your account. So you sell a call, and that call's premium is, let's suppose, $3. So now, if the stock price, the if let's suppose the expiry is 1 month, so if during 1 month the stock price is below $100, that option would expire worthless. However, if the stock goes higher, then you are obligated to sell that stock at the strike price, which was $100, because you had received the deposit of $3. So if we were just selling the call, then your loss could be unlimited. For example, what if the share is like Tesla and it kind of doubles, it reaches to $200? You are still obligated to sell that stock at $100 only. So to cover or to reduce your loss, what you do is you also buy a call at $104 for $1.2 premium. So for one contract, you would have received $300 by selling this call, and you would have given $120 by buying this call. So you have received $180 when you entered in this trade. Now,
बिल्कुल
by the end of expiry, if the stock is still below
भाई साहब बस
$100,
दो तीन मोटी मोटी चीजें
you have
आपको
collected
आपको बता
$180.
दें
You keep
एक
it, and
बात
that
ये है
is
कि
the end
मेक
of
श्योर
it.
करिएगा कि लाइटनिंग जो है
Options,
ना
both
आपका
options expire worthless. However, if the stock price has gone above 100, now you are in the losses category. If it is 101, it is still okay. You're still in 20 cents profit. However, if it becomes, let's suppose, 112, now you're in the losses because uh, you had gained only $180, and you are going to lose $200 because the stock is trading at 102, but you are still going to sell it at $100. If the stock has gone to even 190, your max loss is $400 because you are going to sell the stock at $100, but you also have the right to buy this stock at $104. So max profit would be in case the option, or if the stock stays below $100 till expiry, and the max profit would be $180. However, the max loss is when the stock goes above 104 or becomes 104, you would lose $4 because you would be buying the stock at 104 and selling the stock at $100. So as a risk to reward ratio, you can lose $400, whereas the max you can win is $180. However, they do it on the stocks which are which like this price of $100 is about $7 away from the price where the stock is currently trading. So they do it on the stocks which are less volatile and which they believe would stay under $100. So yes, the loss could be for $100 and the gain is only $180, but the probability or the way they calculate is that the chances of losses are less than the chances of profit because the stock is not very volatile. People mostly do it on SPY, because most of the stocks they have an option, weekly options which expire on Friday. You can buy options for every Friday. However, for SPY, options are sold for 3 days in a week. I believe they have expiry on Monday and Wednesday and on Friday. I would not recommend this strategy to anyone who is new, because as we can see that the loss could be more than what is the profit. So this is for something who really understands the stock and who really understands that this is the prices where it would stay. So when you're doing vertical call, your account needs to have a margin of difference of this contract. So for example, in this case, the strike price is 100 and buy strike price is 104. So there is a difference of $4 per share. So that means $400 per contract. So if you want to trade 10 contracts on this strategy, your account should have minimum margin of $4,000, or minimum $4,000 should be there in your account till the option expiry. You can apply the same strategy with puts as well. So now, generally those people who do it, they play the both strategies. They sell the long and short. They do both, which is I believe called iron condor. In that case, they gain money as long as the stock stays between the lower and upper limit. So I'll explain here. So what you do is you sell same stock. It is trading at $93. So when you did the previous strategy, along with that, you sell an $88 put. You are saying that I would sell you, that person can sell you this stock at $88 even if the price goes below 88. So since the stock can theoretically go to zero, if you are only selling the put call, your maximum loss could be $88 per share. So to hedge your losses, you buy an option with a strike price of $84. Maybe I would say the premium is $1.2. So again, just like the previous case, you have collected $180 on the day you entered in this trade. So now what are the possible implications? Yeah, your maximum profit would be $180, and that would be when the stock stays below $88. However, your maximum loss is again $400 if the stock price falls below $84. So if you had entered in this strategy, both long and short, if the stock stayed between $88 and if it stayed between $88 and $100, your maximum profit would be 180 from the long and 180 from the short. So that would be $360 profit. And your maximum loss could be $400, because you cannot sustain loss on both sides. Either the stock will go below $84 or it would go above $104. So you will get the loss only from one side. And so if you do this strategy, combine both long and short, your max profit would be $360 and your max loss would be $400. Again, I know a lot of people who do this on SPY, which expires every 2 days. Over there, obviously, this was just an example where I'm saying that the premium would be premium difference would be $1.8. Generally, it is not that much for SPY. It is what they do is they do it where the difference is 10 cents. So per contract they make like so what he was telling me is that by he sets up the trade in such a way that his max profit is $1,000, but his max losses are $20,000. So he's playing at a risk to reward ratio of 20 to 1, but as per him, SPY is very stable. So in more than 90% of the times, it would stay within that limit, and more than 90% of the time, his trades are profitable. However, very risky because although you can make $1,000 a day, but if it doesn't work out the way you wanted it, you would lose $20,000 in a day. So that is why it is super risky. Okay, so I think this is all the basics which I wanted to cover. After this, I'm going to hand it over to Wasik. He is going to explain this order form, and then after that, we'll take some questions. Wasik, over to you. Wasik, do you want to unmute yourself? Do we have Wasik on the call still? Hello. Let me message. No, Wasik, we can't hear you. I could hear you earlier when you spoke. So, Saad, do you need to unmute, Wasik? Wasik, try unmuting yourself if you're on the phone. Oops. Saad, are you on the call? Okay, Wasik is trying to unmute himself. Okay, so I see there are still 36 people. If there are any questions, you can type in, and myself and Wasik will try to answer. So in the meantime, Wasik is coming up. I would say my suggestions would be that if you want to trade options, buy options which have a very long expiry. So buy options which have 2 years or 1 year expiry at the least. Buy options which have premium of $2 to $3 only. Do not buy options which are very expensive because, as I said, they can expire worthless. And then the third thing would be that buy options. Do not buy more than 10 contracts per symbol because if you buy too many, then all of your bets are on the same stock. So I would say maximum buy 10 contracts. 10 contracts is 1,000 shares. So do not buy options for more than 1,000 shares for a single symbol, unless you really know about that stock and you believe that it will go up.
Can you hear me now?
Hello? Yes, we can hear you. Wasik, over to you. I'll answer this question in the chat. Wasik, you can start.
Okay, so I just wanted to first show this order form when you're ordering options. For example, in this picture, I'm trying to order options for XLE. It's an ETF. So you have the first tab, which shows basically the expiry date. You can select up to, like these days, the options have expiry date up to July 2022. So you from here you can select which date you want your option to expire. The second, after that, can you just also point, Farhan? Then the second tab where basically you select the strike price of that option that you want to select on. Then the type of option, for example, call or put. Then there are like 4 actions that you could do, which I think Farhan already explained. You can buy a call, you can sell a call, you can buy a put, you can sell a put. So basically, there are 4 things that you could do with options. And then you specify the quantity of the option. So these are option contract, if you remember. Like, so one contract has 100 shares. So for example, here 10 quantity means that you are playing for 1,000 shares. So there are 10 contracts into 100, so 1,000 shares, and then the regular price limit that you can set, and the limit of the premium that you are willing to pay. For example, if you see on the right now the bid was 8.5 and ask for 9.5. So I'm just, for example, putting 9 as a limit price. I just chose the mid price, for example. So I just want to show this order form, because a lot of people who are new, they don't know how to buy options, how to actually, like, I have friends who trade options, and I do it for them, because for them, like, it seems complicated for them, but it's not really complicated. You just have to understand what these actions mean. For example, buy to open means that you are buying the options, and here, as we have selected call, so here you're buying call options. Farhan has already discussed some strategies. I thought, like, people who are new to this, it will be information overload. So I just wanted to give 2 simple tools so that they can learn themselves. So if you go to the next page, Farhan, next slide.
Basil, before you go to next page, can you explain these? There are 4 actions: buy to open, buy to close, open to close. Like, can you explain those, because there were questions in our chat session as well?
Yeah, sure. So buy to open is like when you're buying, you're increasing your position for an option. For example, either call or put. So when you want to buy options, either call or put, so you will select buy to open. Similarly, when you are trying to close this position, so for example, like, let's say you bought some call options, and after a while the stock price went up, so hence the premium of that call options went up as well. Now you wanted to sell that option, like, instead of exercising the options, you just wanted to sell the premiums. So you can then choose sell to close, and then you can just sell those options for that particular premium and just take the profit. You don't really need to exercise the options to make money, because if the stock, for example, is going up, the premiums will go up with the same rate. So it's much easier to just trade on the premiums instead of exercising the options. So these are the 2 options, like, things I've already discussed. Buy to open is when you buy the option, like either call or put, and then you sell to close, which means you are just selling that options for the premium at that time. The other one is, I think, sell to open.
Yeah. Yes, so sell to open is probably selling the puts, I guess.
Exactly. So sell to open is like when you're writing. So sell is also writing. So it's also called writing an option. It means that you are basically creating a new option contract out there for the market. So when you do sell to open, you are creating a new option, and then you're selling it, like, to anyone who is probably, like, somebody else on the other end is probably buying to open, and he buys that option from you. So and then you when you have done that, you can do buy to close. So when you want to, like, let's say, bring that contract back from the market, for example. So that's the 4 options you can 4 things that you could do with the options. If anyone has any question with that.
So there are 2 questions so far, so maybe I'll answer the first one. So there was first one question, that which platform is best for options trading. So in my opinion, what I have observed so far is that for Canada, at least, Interactive Broker is the best one, because their commission is very low. I bought 10 contracts for HPQ. For buying, the commission was $4. Then I sold them, and the commission was $3.8 or something. So the whole trade commission was $8. If I had done the similar trade in Questrade, commission would be $20 on the single side. So total commission would be roughly $40. If I had done the same trade in RBC, commission would be roughly $25 on the single side. So total roughly $50 for the whole trade. And Wealthsimple does not allow selling options. So out of 4 platforms which I use, what I have observed is that Interactive Broker is the best one to buy and sell options. Even the assignment commission is also low on Interactive Broker as compared to Questrade or RBC. Wasit, do you want to share your experience? Like, which one is the best in your opinion?
I have just used TD. I haven't used any other platform. So I've used CIBC too. I think for me, TD works well because all my accounts are there, and it gives me real-time prices of profits and losses. CIBC doesn't do that. Like, it gives like updates like end of the day. It doesn't show you real-time profit and losses for options. So I stick to TD mostly.
So what will be the commission to trade 10 contracts in TD, just to sell and just to buy?
I think it's like, for example, I bought, I don't remember exactly. It's probably, I'll have to check again.
I think it's $10 per trade plus $1 for the contract, right?
Yeah, something like that. I think 1.25 probably.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And another thing.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Another thing I was gonna say, which you already mentioned, that more profit is actually just trading in the options. Very rarely those people who trade options, they would actually execute them, because the idea is, if you're trading in options, that you are investing a little bit, only the premium, and almost gaining the same reward which a person who is investing the full stock price. So those people who generally trade in options, they generally do not execute. They just sell it for the higher premium, because to execute the option, you have to invest in the full stock price, which those people who are trading options, they generally do not. Vasik, have you maybe, like, do you know how to execute the options? I even do not know how to execute, because I have never
actually same here. Like, apparently there's a way to do it through the platform. There's a way to exercise it, but because I have never done it myself, I never took the liberty to find out. I think there's a way you can do it on platform. When you're buying the stock or something, then you can say exercise somewhere, which I have actually never done.
Okay. So
there's
one more.
There's another question asking to review the price of 8.5 and the limit price. So if you see this stock XLE, it's currently at 44.83. So the premium price, like bid, is like 8.5, which means that somebody who wants to buy has placed 8.5 as the price to buy, and somebody who's selling it, he wants 9.5 for it. So I have played the limit price that I have said like 9. So that means is whenever it comes below 9, my order will get executed and will buy it. So 9 is the highest price I'm willing to pay for that premium.
Yeah. Okay. So there are one more question: that does Interactive Broker allow USD, or we have to pay for currency conversion? So Interactive Broker is the best one, because within Interactive Broker you can even do forex transactions. So it's best to maintain a separate Canadian dollar account and a separate US dollars account. So you keep your US dollars if you are generally trading in US stocks only. And somebody has answered in Questrade, how do you exercise it? And there's a $25 commission to exercise. And they are also saying never exercise. They also haven't exercised, though. That is, people do not do. So there's a time check of 11:44. Let's move on. So I think Vasik has a few things to cover, and then we'll come to question answers again.
Yeah. So I just want to introduce these two. Can I share my screen?
Sure. I will stop sharing, I believe. How do I do that?
Yes, you have to stop sharing.
Yeah, stop sharing. Yeah, and now you can share yours. Saad, do you need to make him some presenter to share? Okay, yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, so I just want to show. So I have like two tools to show. One is like an options profit calculator. So that's a very simple one. It's for basically when you are choosing a strategy, then you can, like, you want a visual to see what are the profit margins and when do you think you want to sell it. For example, I'll go with the very basic one. You can create anything here. You can build custom strategies, or they're already the popular ones already here. So I'll just create a very basic one, a long call. I'll use the same stock. For example, I'll use XLE. So the current price, for example, right now is 44. If I want to buy options, either call or puts, let's say I want to buy a call for 44 for January 2022, or I'll buy for 44.21 at 6. I'll choose the mid price. And let's say I want to buy 10 contracts. So it basically generates a profit calculator, like a heat map kind of thing. So now I know, for example, that if the price, so on the left side, this is the price of the XLE stock, and the columns are the timeline till expiry. So naturally, if the stock price rises quickly, the premiums will go much higher. So for example, if I, let's say, decide that, oh, I think the XLE stock will go at 54 at some time before the expiry. So yeah, so the sooner it gets there, I'll have more profit. For example, I'll have a 99% profit if it goes to 54 in July 30, like before July 31st, for example. So like this is a good, nice tool to visualize your risks if you're playing any strategy. Naturally, if it goes below the strike price, you'll be losing money until you lose all your money. Similarly, you can create much more complex strategies from here. For example,
Vasit, I just wanted to actually explain one thing. If you can go down, I just wanted to give you an example. Give them an example. So, for example, this option which Vasit put, the current price is at $44. So, if the stock goes to $54 in 1 month, right now the commission was $6. The option premium would change to $12. So, roughly a $10 increase in the stock price is going to result in a $6 increase in the option premium. So over here, to get those $10, you need to invest $44,000 or $44 fully. Over here, to get $6, you only needed to invest $6. So that is why in options, if the price action happens in your direction, your gains are amplified. However, on the opposite side, if it falls to $34, over there you are losing probably 25% of the money. Over here, you are going to lose 76% of the money. So it amplifies your gains and amplifies your losses as well. But if you are buying an option with the longer expiry, I mean, you would not buy a stock which you believe is not going to raise in 2 years. So the idea is to buy the options for something which you believe would definitely increase in 2 years. Since yeah, so it amplifies the gains and it amplifies the losses as well. However, if you pick a good stock which you believe would recover in 2 years, generally it would move in your direction and you would make some money, more money than you would have bought, more money that you would have gained just by buying the stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second tool I just want to show was just an options playbook.
Guys, just a quick question. You know, like I've not done options trading before. I've bought and sold stocks. So, you know, like in case, you know, you sort of lose on an option and somebody executes it, does the financial institution keep a margin or a buffer on their end to fulfill that trade or loss or and so on? Or how does it, you know, like I'm still not very clear on the options aspect or element.
Okay, so let me just get back to a little bit. So with options, you can do only these 4 things, right? Like you can buy calls, sell calls, buy puts, sell puts, right? So selling calls and selling put means that you are basically creating a contract. There was no contract out there. You are adding a contract to the market. So that means, for example, let's say you are selling calls, which means that basically you are bearish on the stock, right? You want somebody to buy calls, like you want somebody to come and say that I want to buy calls, which means that he thinks that the stock will go up and execute the exercise the option on a particular strike price, right? So you want that, so you are basically bearish on it. You actually don't want that person to exercise the options. You want to just keep the premiums. This is what your strategy here is. So in this case, you can like for example TD, Farhan, you have done this, so you might know better. You sell covered calls, which means that you already own the stock.
Yes. So yes. So just to add to that, in registered accounts, you have limitations on what you can sell. On buying, there are no limitations because responsibility is on the seller. So in registered accounts, you can only sell if you have you can only sell covered calls. Basically, you need to have the underlying stock in your account, and once you sell the option, that stock is held till the option expiry. Like option to sell and buy that stock basically kind of becomes disabled. It is kind of taken away from your account. And if you have margin account and you're selling puts, so you need to maintain the margin of that call in your account at all times. Otherwise, in regular cash accounts, like on selling puts, there are stricter limitations. I believe in Interactive Broker, you need to have minimum $25,000 to sell puts, and whatever the margin could be for that call, you need to maintain that. Otherwise, they won't let you do that trade. So that is why I mentioned that when people are selling puts, they when they're selling puts or calls, they also buy just close to it to hedge their losses, because otherwise, if you're selling, your losses could be unlimited, especially in the case of puts. It's just like shorting a stock. So you need to maintain the margin calls, the margins in the same way as if you were shorting a stock.
Yeah, so that's why, I mean, selling calls and selling puts has another layer of complication, because you need to, in certain cases, you need to own the stock also. So that's why personally, I either buy a call or like buy puts. This is what I do, number 1 and 3. I just play with the combination of these two. I don't sell call. I have sold calls and puts, but I don't usually do it. Because for example, I sell calls, you have to own the underneath stock. I hope we answered your question.
So Vasifu, in the last 7 minutes, if you have something in the slides, or we can just go on to questions.
Yes, I just have to quickly show this. So Farhan mentioned a few strategies. So I just wanted to show this. There's a website called Option Playbook. So it has a list of all the strategies which you can basically use and play, and maybe also like use combination of these strategies. So for example, the one I have used a few times is called like long straddle. So and it's very simple, like they actually explain you each strategy, like what you have to do. So for example, in this one, let's say there's a very volatile stock, for example, all the oil stocks or airline stocks these days. You know that they're going to move, but you're not sure which direction they're going to move. You know that they're going to go either up, a lot up, or they might crash and they'll go down. So you can even play this strategy. You can, for example, in this setup, you can buy a call at strike price A, and you also buy a put at the same strike price A. And you generally, right now, for example, the stock price should be A, around A. So, and you make money if the price of the stock goes above above A plus a certain amount, or it goes down. So in both cases you make money, but you won't make money if you will actually lose money if the stock price stays the same. So for example, you have another idea. You think that the stock price might stay the same. So in that case, you can pick some another strategy here and play that strategy, for example. So like this is a very good good tool, good website to pick strategies from. Yeah, that's all I wanted to show.
Cool. Okay, so guys, last 5 minutes. If you have any questions, better to type it in and then we can take it one by one, because if people start speaking, then it becomes difficult to manage. So if you have any questions, just write in. We have last 4 minutes and we'll answer if there are any questions.
Guys, one thing is that I would appreciate it if you guys would have a repeat session of this Zoom call. Just like to absorb the concepts completely.
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah. Anybody has any question? Otherwise, we are in last 2-3 minutes anyways. So no, we are learners ourselves. So I don't know about Wasik, but I am super new. I am learning myself. So I just thought that we share our learnings and other people can also benefit.
You're always learning with options. You're always learning with options.
Yeah,
you never
exactly.
mastered them.
Yeah. So Robinhood platform, I believe, is not available in Canada. Does anybody know if this is available in Canada, Robinhood platform? Yes, so for day trading also options is great. So for example, I would just tell you that the last 2 days when the air prices skyrocketed, one of the option which I had sold for $1, it increased to $7 in 2 days. So as I said, the options amplify your gains or losses. So if stock is moving in one direction, options premium would increase significantly as well. So people have confirmed that Robinhood is not available in Canada. How do you use stop order price in Investor Edge? Stop order price. I think he's talking about stop loss. I haven't used Investor Edge, so I wouldn't know. But generally, stop loss is when you have placed an order that if the price goes below a certain level, it just executed. Okay. I think we're last 2 minutes. Saad, do you have any closing remarks? And then maybe we can call it if there are no more questions. So guys, last 2 minutes. If there are any questions, please type it in. Does anybody has used any other trading platform, especially in Canada, where premiums are where commissions are even lower than what I mentioned for Interactive Broker? So just like any trader, all the traders, they offer paper trading. So you can use the paper trading account for options trading as well. Simulator, I believe he just mentioned a calculator where you can difference. So covered call is you can when you have the underlying stock in your account already. So Interactive Broker does offer pre-market and after-market for the full hours from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Questrade also does it from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And I heard yesterday that TD also does it from probably. So can you share, Wasik, what times TD allows for pre and after-market? And by the way, there is no pre and after market for trading so for options. Options are only during regular hours.
So
sorry,
from the tool, I have not been able to do pre-market and after market. Maybe you can do it after, like, with calling them, but like from the tool you cannot do pre or post market.
Yeah, options trading is only during the regular hours. You cannot trade market options once the market is closed. Okay, so I think it's 12. So Saad, Thank you for setting up this session. If you can have some concluding remarks, and then we can close the meeting.
Any
No, no.
recorded link for this meeting?
I'm all good. The link will be posted, and I think Farhan will share that in due course of time.
Yeah.
So thank you, folks.
Put it on YouTube on my channel and share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Assalamu alaikum.
Very good.